You're listening to We Patriot Radio, produced with the partnership of Reads Across America Radio, with the mission to remember the fallen, honor those who have served, and teach future generations the value of freedom created by the men and women who have served our country. Currently playing on We Patriot Radio, Jamie Tate. Love looks good on you.
You got it!
Tom Cruise, roll out. You're watching or listening to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. We are We the People, the People's Patriot Project.
To put your skill set, your thoughts, and ideas, or want to help continue the mission, you have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we are the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be a part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. Here's the We P3 team bringing you today's best heroes hits in the boots on the ground organizations that are saving lives. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Left, your left, left, right, your left. You got it!
Truck it up!
Y'all don't really want it like here comes the y'all don't really want it
like Hey, welcome to our show. It is the 30th of March, 2025. I am Andrea Eichmann with the People's Patriot Project, here with you tonight to share what's happening in our world and who we are visiting with these days. Tonight, we have got a really fun guest. We got to talk with her a little bit. Miss Althea Williams with She Vets It will be here to share her story and her mission with us tonight. Our sponsors for the night include Green Hills Contracting, a veteran-owned and operated contracting company out of Moberly, Missouri. Thank you, Timothy Newton, for making that connection. Catch 22, Operation Texas Strong, the Boho Hobos Hideaway, and then Kimmer Gwinner, who's not with us tonight, but we're hoping to hear from her as we go. We also have Brian Kenzer. He is here with us tonight. He shares his business, Smart Living Today. It's all about getting on the right side of your health, supporting American families, jobs, and the economy, and supporting the WeP3 mission. He'll speak to us, and we have a link for you to check out in a little bit here. The People's Patriot Project. If you missed last week's show, you can catch it tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern. You can find Reads Across America Radio on the iHeartRadio app, Odyssey app, and the TuneIn app. Just search the word Wreath or just Google Reads Across America Radio. Thank you very much to our sponsors, our guests, and our viewers. Before we start this week's show, we invite you to take off your hats, stand if you can, cover your heart, and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and
justice for all. Here we go. We're here. Put the pretty people on top. Jonathan, get off there.
Dang, I thought I made it.
There. Come on. The pretty people go up on top. Yeah. If you're listening to the podcast, you won't see the shenanigans we're doing, but we are here. We are, oh my gosh, almost April, March 30th. I sent a little note out to the WeP3 peeps in MySpace today. Well, MySpace. I was Andrea and Jonathan. I'll be real. Do you know what time it is? It's time to grill. And I took a little picture with the snow falling behind me. And Jonathan's like, are you kidding me? What is going on? And here's the deal, folks. It doesn't matter. Rain, shine, snow, 30 below, 30 above, 30 above that, or 30 above that. It doesn't matter. I grill all the time, all year long. So it is what it is. So it doesn't matter. Go get her done. We're here. We're doing it. We have an amazing guest tonight. We're going to miss our musician tonight. He did let us know he's dealing with some things. That's all right. We're going to reschedule. Not a big deal. That's what happens when we do a live show. Althea, I don't know if you know, but you're chatting in the private chat. You can go to the comments and chat in the comments if you'd like to. Just want to give you that heads up. So we are here every Sunday at 1800 Central Standard Time. We call our show We Got Your 6 at 6 because that was brilliant marketing back in the day when we thought we just had a viewership in Minnesota. And so when we started through that little thing that our country dealt with in 2020, we ended up going a little bit bigger than we had planned. We outgrew our undies a bit, and so we just stuck with it. It is what it is. We're at 1800 Central Standard Time, Minnesota, and it doesn't fit for the East Coast or the West Coast, but we're here, and you're here, and we appreciate all you. We have a bunch of people chiming in, and we just want to do the quick shout-outs real quick. Derek Iozio, good to see you, brother, down in the great state of Alabama. Great brother helping. He is also the chair for the People's Patriot Project, the chair for communications, and he's got an amazing newsletter that he's getting ready to put out. Amanda, good to see you, sister. Doing amazing things. The Heroes Media Group is out there. Thanks for being here, guys. And just the amazing crew that we got here with Mr. Kinzer, Mr. Crochet, Mrs. Eichmann, and our amazing, beautiful, and driven guest, Miss Althea Williams. Thanks for being here, folks.
Thank you. Hello,
Yes.
Yes.
Let us know what's in the news, brother.
We got a busy month. So we're talking about April now. We're 2 days away, or actually one in a little bit. But so April is the month of the military child. And on average, military child will end up moving 6 to 9 times in the middle of a school year before they graduate. It's estimated that since 2001, 2 million children have gone through a parent being deployed. And approximately 1.2 million people currently serving on active duty grew up as military children. 80% of these kids are attending schools in the United States, and 1/3 of these kids attending school will show behavior such as anxiety. These extraordinary children, to say the least, they have known sacrifice and hardship for most of their lives by the time that they've reached adulthood. So take a moment, recognize the sacrifices that they've made, because the serviceman or woman that put on the uniform are not the only ones who make the sacrifices. April is also National Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. The time is set aside as a special awareness and education month that aims to bring exposure to sexual violence worldwide and educate individuals on how to prevent it. Every 68 seconds in the U.S., an American is sexually assaulted, and 1 in 5 women, as well as 1 in 67 men, have experienced rape or assault in their lifetime, while the perpetrators are being imprisoned at a rate of only 5 out of 1,000. The month of April gives us the opportunity to take a stand, show unity in an effort to stop these travesties and atrocious acts against our peers. April is also the National Month of Hope. And this is all about celebrating the belief that things will work out, especially when it seems otherwise. And this is because hope is a concept that is deeply rooted in our culture and society. It is the reason that this country exists, after all. Some brave souls risked everything because they had a vision of a free country where all men were created equal and possessed the hope that their vision would come to fruition. Webster's dictionary defines hope as confidence in the future. I have a friend who uses the acronym HOPE for Hold On, Pain Ends. It is a large part of what we do here at WeP3. Be a beacon of hope for those who are struggling to find confidence in their future. To walk with those and help foster the confidence that is within them so that they too can be a beacon of hope for those that are struggling in their lives. April 1st is United States Air Force Academy Day. All officers who serve in the Air Force are educated at the Air Force Academy. President Eisenhower established the Academy April 1st, 1954, and since then has continuously produced leaders of character who embody courage, humility, and a commitment to serve others before themselves. Ronald Reagan and George W. Bush were both airmen before their time as president. April 1st through the 7th is Blue Ribbon Week. This is designed to raise awareness and hopes of preventing child abuse. Child abuse will affect 1 out of 7 children in the United States. Abuse is often thought of as physical, sexual, verbal, or psychological. But neglect is also a form of child abuse that is prevalent throughout studies. Survivors of child abuse are more likely to have behavioral issues as they grow into young adults. And these are the most vulnerable times in someone's life, and their well-being and protection should be important to all of us. April 5th, Gold Star Spouses Day. This day recognizes the fearless sacrifices of military service members and their families. This day lets affected families know that we remember their sacrifice and honor their loss. The Gold Star Initiative started in World War I Family members of those serving in the military were encouraged to hang blue-starred flags outside their homes. If the family member had died, then the stars would be replaced by gold stars as a public display of the sacrifice that the family had made for freedom. In 2012, the Senate would designate April 5th as Gold Star Wives Day, and it would eventually be changed to reflect all family members that have lost their spouse through military service. And I don't have it written down, but March 28th, so 2 days ago, I'm sure most of us have probably heard about it already, but there was a massive earthquake that hit in Thailand. So I'm sure the reports of damage and everything will continue to come in, but let's just keep those people in our thoughts and prayers as well. And that is it for the news.
Thank you, Jonathan. It is always the important piece that drives what we're doing, how we're doing, when we're doing. And there are so many amazing things happening across the country that is supporting and helping and taking care of the men and women. So back to a little bit of the piece of why do we do this? We do this because we get to run our mouths, have our opinions, do our show, get up and drink what fruity tooty latte mocha muchico thing that we want to drink at any given time. Because, and I don't think people take the time to do this. And sometimes I feel like I'm talking to the wrong audience in the fact that 90% of our country gets to lay their big fat heads on the pillows of freedom daily because of the men and women of every color, race, creed have signed a dotted line to sacrifice their time, their efforts, their blood, their sweat, their limbs, and even their lives so that we can do this. And there is not a day that I wake up and don't acknowledge the fact that there's a lot of people that have given a lot more than I have. There's a lot of people that have given more time to have what we have. And I said we collectively, we. And if you want to get into that conversation and we can go down that path, I'm available 763-238-5971 anytime. Call me. We will talk about it. And you won't convince me otherwise. I'm just going to let you know. If you can prove to me that not doing anything is the answer, I got you. So the next big thing to our show is that we slip into you don't get to be part of this without doing something. This is a working group. We, the people, the People's Patriot Project is a working group working for a purpose. The purpose is to take care of those who have served. And again, sometimes the people that get left out are the people that are in the homes or are closely related and associated to these men and women who signed the dotted line, but they can't sign that dotted line without the spouses, the children, and the people that are close, their parents. They can't do the mission without these people. So they're part of that whole overarching mission for us. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your service. But right now is the time for all of us to get to work. Right now, all of us have a device in our hands or in our space or in our place. Mine's really cool. Look at that. It's all WP3 green, and it does have the crest on it. And the really cool thing is I swipe here and I go to a text thread and I type in just thinking about you. Now you take that, you copy it, and you go find 6 people in your network. Now, we are veteran and first responder forward. That is our mission. That's what we do. That's who we are. That's where we're going. But we are okay for you to coattail this mission with reaching out to anyone in your network to say, hey, I'm just thinking about you. Sorry, not sorry. This is proactively an effort to reach out to those that need support. And we don't know who needs the support. We don't know the people that need to hear our voice today. We don't know the people that just need to hear, I'm thinking about you. Someone needs to hear it today. And there's someone in your network, in your contact list, that needs to hear this. I'm challenging you with one, because we've asked you to do it by 6. We call it check your 6. We're going to ask you to do one more. Not one more of the 6. Make it 5 plus 1. I mean, it's 6. There is a relationship that you have somewhere that got sideways for whatever reason. I'm going to ask you to take the bold movement, the bold stance, the tough, eat some crow, and say to this person where this relationship went sideways, I challenge you to send that text to that person and say, I'm just thinking about you. Now, here's the deal. You may never hear from these people ever again in your life. And it is what it is. We know how that works. I've been listening to, and I'm having a brain fart right now. I will get it. And I'll let you know. But I've been hearing this great message about how it's okay to break off relationships. Because it is. Sometimes you're not evenly yoked, and I'm getting on a platform here, and I'll apologize real quick. But sometimes what someone in your life, the way the relationship started off, it had a purpose, it had a meaning, it had a focus, and there was a reason for the relationship. And sadly and unfortunately, we outgrow those relationships. It is what it is. It doesn't mean you have to burn it down. Move on. Be personable. Realize that you're not all fitting in the same space at the same time. Scooter Brown, Scotty Brown is the one that's I've been following. It is okay to also have to be the one, and this is a humbling conversation for someone to say, you're not right for me. How hard is that to hear? That's a tough conversation. But you're not fitting into a niche or however you want to say it, or you're not fitting into the mojo of that person's life. And if it's important to you, you got to figure that piece out. And if it's not important for you, it's time to move on. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't have to burn it down. And it's all right to reach out to them and say, hey, I was just thinking about you. It's a driving force of some of the things that we do. Create those conversations, communicate with our peers. We've always heard that cliche conversation, I wish I would have said I love you one more time, or I wish I would have contacted them one more time. Here is your chance, brothers and sisters. 6 is not the deadline. 6 is not the goal. That's just what the challenge, or that's what the call to action is. So, thanks for indulging me in that for a moment. I do want to do a quick shout out real quick. If you get the chance and you're interested in a tool that will help alleviate a little bit of the stress, we have an amazing tool from our brother Joe Meisch of Temple Massager. He's put together a great package, and if you take the time and go to his website to get said Temple Massager, he will give you a discount. He will give you a discount of 20% if you go and type in WeP3 and purchase this. I'm going to tell you, it's an amazing device. I'm not a frou-frou kind of guy. I don't. I struggle with toys and gadgets, and I don't do what's that TV show that everyone used to buy stuff off, the Home Shopping Network, HSN. Not my thing. I know people get addicted to that stuff. It is what it is. The day Joe was on our show, and I think that was 3 episodes ago, I sat here and I have a temple massager in my possession. And during the show, it darn near put me to sleep because it does what it needs to do. And there is a whole line of mechanisms it accommodates. I'm not smart enough to share those pieces. But again, if you really liked the way this product looked, don't expect to get it because I photoshopped the crest onto that. So don't. I mean, it's all about branding, right, folks?
With Joe's approval, though. With Joe's approval.
No, I did it on my own. I'm not gonna lie. I did it on my own. He is talking about branding some, but again, that we're not ready for that yet. I mean, we'd love to be ready for that, but it is what it is. It's a tool that works. So I'll be done with it. I won't drag this on. I want to bring Althea into this. Althea, thank you for your patience. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the amazing smile. And tell us who you are and tell us what your mission is.
Oh, yes, definitely. Well, first, thank you all for having me here. Thank you for your service. And I think you just preached a message, Mark, as far as like for forgiveness and, being humble and setting your ego aside to ask someone to, it doesn't matter what the relationship is, that hey, I'm sorry, or I'm thinking of you, or whatever that is, because, we don't know the time or the hour. So I appreciate you sharing that. But I digress. And my name is Althea Williams, and I'm the founder of She Vets It. And so I started a couple of, years ago during COVID, and COVID got on Clubhouse and wanted to connect with other women veterans. I'm a combat veteran. And so I thought, man, during this time, I wanted to check in with other women veterans because I know it was tough for everyone. And actually, it wasn't exclusive to the military space, but or community, but also to people in general. But I know for sure those veterans that may struggle in silence. And then you add COVID to it. I said, let me use the Clubhouse app for us to jump on and support each other. And that's where we were able to connect, share resources, and also navigate challenges of transitioning from the service to civilian life. And I joined the military at the age of 39 and did almost 8 years until I experienced a traumatic brain injury while I was in Germany. And so that cut my military service short. So I just wanted a space where I could, find women veterans that could relate to, the challenges of losing battle buddies. I went to Afghanistan, and I just wanted to, find, I guess you could say, find my tribe. So that's a little about me.
Let me get this straight, because you said you started in the military. Did you say at 39?
Yep, I was about to turn 39.
So was there a significant event in your life where you said, it is time for me to serve my country?
Outside the midlife crisis, no. Well, no, during the time, it was around the time of the financial crisis, and a lot of people were laid off. I relocated my family from California to Texas, and then that's when the economy crashed. And I went to I went to a coffee shop, and I was talking to someone. They're like, hey, have you thought about joining the military? And I said, you know what? I always wanted to join the military, but something always kept coming up. So I went to a recruiter's office, talked to them. After that, I said, you know what? Let me pray about it, because you just don't join the military and decide, I don't like it, I'm going to get out. Once you commit, you in there for whatever time, whatever amount of time you signed up for. So I went to church on Sunday. I said, okay, God, give me a confirmation. That Sunday, the pastor had a Navy SEAL chaplain. The whole stage was military theme. And then after that, the prompter was the Army coming to pick up a family. And so that Monday I was supposed to sign. Okay, I think that's my confirmation to join. So I end up joining the military at that time.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, mind you, I was already, I was hitting the gym twice a day in the morning, at night, before I even met the person at the coffee shop. So I was physically ready.
You understand that's not the norm, right?
Oh yeah. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. And that's
Okay.
why that's the story that I share, is that I feel like that God ordered my steps, because I always wanted to join, even because I joined with my MBA. I already ran a chamber of commerce as well, award-winning chamber of commerce exec. And so how, sometimes we have plans of what we want to do in life. And the military, I thought that passed me, and I thought I wouldn't be doing the military. I knew that was something I always wanted to do. But I thought, my age, I think it was up to 35 or something. But during the time, it went up to 42. And then the economy was the way it was. And I'm like, I'm hitting the gym twice a day. I think I'm ready. I think I could do this. So I decided to jump in, and I had to pray about it and had to get a confirmation. And I jumped in and decided to do it. I felt spiritually led.
Oh, and that's amazing. But I mean, what was it like? Because I'm assuming you were in a boot camp scenario with the majority, I'm going to say 98% of 17 to 21 year olds.
Oh, yes. Once I got in, I was like, what was I thinking? Why nobody talked me out of this? But by that time, it was too late. There was no convincing me to get out, but I knew that God gave me a confirmation. That's what I was supposed to do. And that is what I held on to. And I just kept going, because I knew this is the direction I was supposed to go in. And that is what pushed me along the way. And then I would see young girls break their hip, and different things would happen to them. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's 18 and she broke her hip. Oh Lord, I'm out of here. It's a matter of time. But I made it through. It was prayer, and oh my gosh, it was prayer and yes. But it was, but I think too, the maturity, I had a strong sense of who I was in my faith. That kind of actually helped me through that time period.
I have some questions, and I'm going to be honest, I'm a little afraid to ask them, but we're going to go there.
Okay.
I'm assuming you were older than your drill sergeants.
You know what? I think a lot, yes, because you know what? When I was in boot camp, they were like, you gonna let grandma, because look, I was considered grandma or mama bear. They were like, you gonna let grandma beat you? Or if it was a run, the whole thing was like, oh, you're not gonna let Althea beat you. So because, I was so much older. And so, yeah, I was, even my commanders, when I was even outside of boot camp and at my duty stations, a lot of times the commanders are usually 26. The first sergeants are usually about 38. If they went in traditionally at 18, they're about to retire at 38. People are getting out the military most of the time at 38. They're not joining the military. They're getting out.
What is happening to this space?
I have a question. And it's just something that I experienced in my time was we had a re-enlistment guy come in. He was out long enough. He had to go through basic and all that again. But here we were, and I don't know, 21, 22 years old. And this 36-year-old guy comes straight out of basic training to the platoon, and they're like, here's your new soldier, And so I'm sitting here having to give orders to a guy that's obviously way smarter and way better at this than I am. But did you go through any experiences? I'm not asking you to say you were better than anybody else. I'm just from that perspective, you know what I mean? Where you're being told what to do by somebody way younger than you, and it's out of place, but you got to do it anyway.
Oh yes. But you know what? I think before I already was like disciplined to, I just bloom where I'm planted, and I knew the military was temporary. And so the only time I had any issues is if they were young, inexperienced, and even then I learned how to be very tactful. I was professional, was executive director of a chamber, so I knew how to be tactful, and how to, if it went left, I knew the protocol. And so I was always respectful, and I never I knew the regs and all that. So I knew what to do. And I really didn't have any serious issues. The only thing is it was very humbling. I would say it was definitely humbling because, I'm in there with young soldiers that were probably the age of my kids. So, because I had children. Actually, one of my sons was in the military before I even joined. So
This is just crazy. I mean, one of my questions were there nicknames that came along with it? You already answered that question. And I'm sorry that they called you grandma and stuff. That's not nice.
that was just boot camp. And Mama Bear. But Mama Bear was not bad, because Mama Bear,
Sure.
A lot of times, even in Afghanistan, the younger soldiers, they would come to me. And even when we lost battle buddies, I had soldiers that I would always, I felt like people were able to come to me because they knew I was a lot older. However, I think it became a challenge because I stayed in that kind of role. So even when I had my own challenges, I kind of compartmentalized that and didn't deal with a lot of my own issues of losing battle buddies in order to make everybody else who were having challenges comfortable. And so that kind of, caught up with me later.
This is just a fascinating conversation. And I appreciate you coming on here. And that has nothing to do with the mission of She Vets It. And we're going to get to that because I'm going to prep you here, because we're going to play a song. Jonathan's going to take over here in a second, and we're going to play a song. But I'm prepping you with this isn't for everybody. I mean, and again, there's a reason why. And I personally believe there's a reason it should be not for everyone, but exists. But there's also going to be some of those naysayers that are like, well, why do we gotta take care of it? We'll get to that conversation. So, Jonathan, what do you got for music tonight, brother?
I was kind of having a little toss up. So I have two songs, and we'll do Dawn.
You were juggling some thoughts?
I don't have that many thoughts. It's just tossing one up and catching it. No, we got One Love Fits All by Dawn Ricks. Here we go.
What if schools weren't divided by in and out crowds? Beauty on the inside shined on the out, and all kids ever had to worry about was growing up. What if bullies didn't prey on the small and the weak? Bullets weren't a way for the evil to speak, and nobody ever had a need or reason to run. What if size didn't matter and looks didn't mean everything? Maybe hearts wouldn't have to shatter if hate didn't put down dreams. How bad does it have to get? How many have to fall before we make this world where one love fits all? What if we all accepted each other's ways, reached out and respected each other's fate. Wonder how many lives we could have saved if we did. What if grace was the future and greed was the past? Hope was a given and hurt didn't last. We never used words we wish we could take back again. What if size didn't matter and looks didn't mean everything? Maybe hearts wouldn't have to shatter if hate didn't put down dreams. How bad does it have to get? How many have to fall before we make this world where one love fits all? What if stars didn't matter and looks didn't mean everything? Maybe hearts wouldn't have to shatter if hate didn't put down dreams. How bad does it have to get? How many have to fall before we make this world where, when we make this world where, can we make this world where one love fits all? One love fits all.
That is the amazing Don Ricks. One Love Fits All. And Don will be with us live here May 4th for that show. We love having Don. She's been an amazing part of WP3 on all levels. She came in 2021, when we did the Nashville WP3 takeover. She was a musician in that thing. She came down. We had 28 musicians in that event, and she came and hugged up on us and shook our hands. And it was more than shaking hands. It was hugs and all that weird stuff. And it was awesome. We love having Dawn around us. And it's amazing to have her in our network. Brian Kinzer. Oh, look, there you are.
Sure.
Thought you were disappearing on us for
I
a second.
hit the wrong button. I hit face instead of mouse.
Stop doing that.
So,
whoops, we don't want to do that view. We'll do this view. We won't focus on the chair.
Cool.
Tell us about what you bring to the table, brother.
Well, first of all, I got to talk about a little bit about, I finished my military career and then I went right into the fire service. I guess I didn't learn my lesson, but there's something that feels really good about going out there and getting physical, and kind of whipping butt on somebody that's half your age. I love it. So nothing wrong with being up there a few years and still getting out and doing it, right? Nobody agrees with that?
Yes.
Oh, well, I agree with you, man.
Okay. All right. So, what my story is we've got a little store that we promote that puts a lot of healthy choices in front of you, helps you get on the good side of your health. And I share that with folks. And when they come and shop there, we support WP3 Radio at the same time. So hopefully you'll come check it out. There's a link here in the chat, and you'll also see some information on the various web pages for People's Patriot Project. So come talk to me. I'd love to show it to you.
Thanks for all you do, brother.
Hey,
Absolutely.
I'm here.
We put you in the hot seat, Miss Williams.
Okay.
You got She Vets It. It's not for everyone, is it?
It is, but it's not. It's focused on women veterans, and actually we are open to share resources for spouses, families. And one thing that I heard you say earlier that I really appreciate is that families serve too. And actually, they serve more than people give them the credit for. Because I was just thinking today when you were talking about how many times a child may move, go to one place to the next, or PCS. And I was just thinking, I have my children all graduated from high school from different states, one in Germany, one in Virginia, one in Texas, and one in, I'm trying to think what else. Did I say Virginia? But whatever the case, they are all different places. And I was just thinking, wow, they're all in different places, and so it's just interesting. Family serves. So when we deal with challenges, a lot of times our families are the ones that are left once we get out the military. Our families are the ones that deal with those lasting, maybe invisible wounds, or actually physical wounds that people may not know about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so we combat this conversation every once in a while because there is a designated female veteran day, and we get people that come, well, why, we're all veterans, okay, relax. And it's okay. First of all, it's okay to recognize and acknowledge other groups, spaces, ideologies that doesn't all fit one. And I get what Veterans Day represents. I'm totally, absolutely okay with that. There's a little misnomer into the reason and the purpose for the Veteran Day for females, and the fact that women were not always acknowledged as service members as they were serving the military. For years and years and years. And so that is why the concept of the females version of Veterans Day has come into play. Let's be honest, folks. Mm-hmm. You can, I'll screen these conversations as well. The person entering the service world as a female is different than entering as a male. We can talk about the physiological reasons. Men are more physical. They're put into the combat-related pieces. Not always. And women aren't always. But I also know that there are some women that are capable and can and will and should be in those spaces as well. Then there's, I don't know if it's physiological. I mean, I'm not reaching, but then there's a biological difference. Women have children, believe it or not. Now, I know we're crossing. We always talk about not having those political conversations. And I know this is a whole nother piece out there that people may want to bring into this conversation. We're not going to do that tonight. Mm-hmm. And if you'd like to have that conversation in another venue, in another space, in another place with me, I'll have that conversation. But we're not going to do that here tonight. And so we do believe, the People's Patriot Project, that we are going to honor and commit to serve all those who put on a uniform on. Mm-hmm. So regardless of that ideology, mm-hmm. Thank you, Althea, for taking the extra steps and realizing there is a purpose. Now, mm-hmm. That's it. Mm-hmm. What does that stand? What does that represent?
What it stood for was, I had a friend from high school who joined the military at 18, and she came back with some challenges that I didn't understand. I didn't get it until I joined, and I lost battle buddies in Afghanistan, and I was like, I get it. She vets it, she gets it. So I understood, and I like to add with that, with women veterans, it's not so much because we all physically have to carry our weight. If I have a 60-pound ruck that I have to carry on my back, no one's carrying it for me. I got to carry it just like my brother. If I need to carry it or do, no one's going to help me. In the military, no one's going to help you, like as a civilian. Oh, let me catch the door for you. No, you got to carry your weight. So there's millions of women that serve that carry their weight in the service. They serve, they have a job. And so what I want to add is the reason why Women Veterans Day is so important is because women veterans, we make up the fastest segment of the homeless population among our veterans. And I think here's the challenge. The challenge is different because, men are socialized to go into the military. And so a lot of times if there's a divorce or separation, who's left with the children? Most likely it's the women. And so if there's some challenges with our women that serve, they're left with the children. And a lot of times that being homeless, a lot of times when they put plans or shelters or different things for our women veterans, they don't always take in consideration that she may have a son or a daughter. And a lot of times these shelters, and I've had people call me because they needed a place to stay, but they couldn't go into a shelter because they had a son. And so now a lot of times they're more likely to want to couch surf or may stay in their car. So I realize that me being older and understanding what, those challenges that are women veterans, especially our younger veterans, I wanted to, bring together a community under She Vets It where, we support one another. Because one thing is when we try to isolate, that's when there's challenges. They say that women veterans and just veterans in general are 2.5 times more likely to die by suicide the first year after the military. And so it doesn't matter if they're a female or male. And so I wanted She Vets It to be a community where we're able to, if I had someone on the podcast that have been successful on navigating their way in the civilian world, come to share their stories. What were those challenges? Because yes, like any job, when you're changing jobs, there are going to be challenges. It's not exclusive to the military. Life changes can be stressful, fear of the uncertainties and things like that. And so I wanted to bring people on She Vets It that would inspire other women veterans or even supporters or the spouse or the children. I wanted to create a space where we support one another. I was pretty much, to be honest, I was pretty much creating a space that I needed. But I also knew that I was able to do it because I had the skill set and the transferable skills from, running a chamber of commerce and networking, being that I would say a super connector. So if someone needs something, I always reach within my community and like, hey, do anyone know if someone's hiring here or this or that, making those connections with people that may need support. So that's why I started She Vets It. And during the pandemic, I didn't think it was going to grow to what it is right now. I was just jumping on because I just wanted to be of support to veterans out there.
I think that's a huge part of it that is often unspoken. It's, there's a lot of organizations out there that are doing great things in the veteran and first responder communities, but if you're say a young organization just starting out or whatever point you're on in your journey, having the connections with other organizations that because when you're in a nonprofit world, once you have a formula for your nonprofit, you have to maintain and stick within those guidelines. So having the connections to be able to reach out to other organizations that have a different skill set than yours does and connect veterans with the resources that they need, even though it's not coming from you, is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, it really, and the thing too is what I was doing was never about like competing with what other people were doing, but really just being that connector to like you said, bringing people together. Hey, did you know that this organization, deal with mental health? There's a retreat for those for family or spouses or whatever that is. and then sometimes I would go to some of these events that they have for veterans, and I'll go and say like, okay, would I recommend this organization, or how did I feel when I was there? So I don't, I try to look at something that I needed and see would I recommend, or someone will recommend me to me an organization. Hey, Althea, I went to this organization. They were great with X, Y, and Z. And so it's veterans supporting veterans, veterans referring organizations, and so forth. Even veterans who refer other people outside of the veteran community that, hey, Althea, there's a wonderful veteran that I know that I think she would be perfect. So come on, she vets it. So it's really, it's really, I feel like it's all hands on deck. And what we do, what the People's Patriot Project does, and then what other organization do, is that we all are trying to help our brothers and sisters. And so I think that is what I'm in, is to support what, us collectively helping our veteran community, our brothers and sisters. And hey, if I know that you have an organization that would be very helpful, I'm definitely going to plug them in.
For sure. For sure.
No, I think we can totally appreciate that too. We've said it many a time, because we get to meet so many people through our podcast and other events that we've gone to, and people we have visited with. The same thing. We always say we will help as far as we can, and for those things that we can't provide, we have someone in our network, and we will not let you go. You'll be on the line, or you'll be in our hand, or you'll be in our car until we get you there. And we're not dropping you off at the doorstep. We're walking you through the door. And so that's very appreciated, because we have it right in our mission statement, collaborating with others that have similar missions. So can't catch them all. The net's not tight.
And that is actually what I always say, is that I want the 3 million women veterans. I'm not going to be able to capture them all. So why am I going to try to I'm going to try to do my best to connect with as many as I can. However, there's another women organization that is on that side of the states that is doing a wonderful job. I'm going to let you know about them, because they are doing awesome. But the thing is too, I am, everything I do is volunteer. So it's not like I don't get funding to do what I do. So it's easy for me to operate this way. It's just when you're, so I don't know. I just, I love helping people and supporting people. And my focus, I want to do She Vets It in a way where, again, supporting, storytelling, advocate awareness to, talk about mental health and wellness, career transitioning, and homelessness, bringing that to people's attention, because a lot of times people don't realize women veterans make up the fastest segment of the homeless population. And that's, the more people understand that, and that's why it's so important to understand Women's Veterans Day. People don't know that it's June 12th every year. They're not aware of that. But the more people understand the different challenges that women face, they will be able to put together programs that are unique to women. And I want to share this, is a lot of times what people don't understand, because they think that male and female veterans are the same. We're the same, but not the same. And the thing is, a lot of times men are socialized to go out there and work. But our children are not socialized for the mother to leave and go to war. That is different. The psychological impact that it has on the mom and their child is totally different than if the husband go to war. We know he's in the military. He's, we're socialized as kids. The father, as kids, the male's playing with soldiers, and the girls are, socializing to play with the baby dolls. But when the mom, she gets older, the mom, have the kids, she's going overseas. She's, dealing with things, and if she comes back and she has challenges, how do you deal with that? We know how to deal with it when it comes to the male perspective, but a lot of times we don't know what that looks like from a female perspective, because we actually haven't been serving in this capacity that long, if you really think about it. So that's why it's so important to really identify and really have the conversation about women veterans and their service, because I see so many women veterans that have challenges with their children, their young adults, because of their service.
It's interesting that you say that. And again, I'm not delineating. That's not even, we'll get the right word eventually someday. Our country is not even, we're 1 year away or a couple months away from being 250 years old. And the growth that we have seen in that time, did we get it right from the beginning? Nope. We haven't gotten it right from the beginning, but we're making changes. The changes are becoming better. And you're right. There's a historical process of where women were expected to be and where they're, I don't want to use the word allowed, because that just seems like should be. They should be. They should be in all areas, in aspects, wherever. I don't know why that's been such a hard concept. I don't understand why it's such a hard concept that race should never have been a factor in any of this stuff in the first place, and all these other aspects. And again, we're trying to get down this road. What are we not still getting right, Althea? What can we still get better?
I think, one thing was an eye opener is when I went to Afghanistan. When I went to Afghanistan, and there was the Canadian compound, the Australian compound, and it was the American compound. And what I noticed is there was people from all backgrounds, white, Black, Latinos, Asian, and we were there fighting for one mission. And that is what made us so unique. And I think that we're losing focus on that because of what make us who we are. And that is the thing. And when we could start respecting individuals for who they are, because when I lost battle buddies, I didn't lose one race of people in Afghanistan. I lost people that were young, old. I lost Black, white, you name it. There's people across, in the military that all ages. I was just thinking, my grandfather, he, disabled a veteran. And he passed some years ago. But, I have family members from, I don't know how many generations that served the military. And so I don't know. I just feel like it's just there's so many of us that make sacrifices. Women that make sacrifices. One of my battle buddies, she's a woman that, lost her life in Afghanistan, so I don't know. I just feel like to respect those that serve the country that may be different than me, the most that I can do is respect someone. If you're American, I don't care who it is. I respect people. I judge them based on how they treat me. If you can be an ugly individual. I don't care if you're African American, any race, anybody can be ugly, just a nasty person, and does not, just because you look like me does not necessarily mean that I'm gonna hang out with you. If you got an ugly spirit, your attitude's nasty, I don't care if we look like twins and we're not related. That doesn't mean I'm gonna hang out with you if your spirit's not right. So I do not judge people based on what they look like. I connect with people based on their heart and their spirit and who they are, and pray for everybody else.
Well, it's a piece of checking character. And sometimes people get confused with checking character and they throw other traits into that. And if you an ugly person, We're talking on the inside, and that's coming out to the outside. It doesn't matter what you put in front of that. That's not the reason. And it's a scary world where you can add any nomenclature to the front of that, and then you're pegged into that space, and it's frustrating. I appreciate you, Althea, and I appreciate you. Your passion, your heart, your drive. The fact that you found this not necessarily in the traditional manner, but then found this as, an older person, and then realized that there was a niche to serve and to continue the mission. And again, we love the opportunity to collaborate. And at the very beginning of when we started the People's Patriot Project, we had all these marketing people coming in, and they're like, why are you need to specialize? And I'm like, you know what? We need a conduit that doesn't specialize, because we have all these specializations out there. We have all these pieces. And it's great to create a relationship with someone that we can say, hey, we know a person. We know this person that fits this and fits this idea and this ideology, and it's all needed. And we talk about the tackle box. I know some people say toolbox, but when you're out fishing, and we're all of us are fishing, we're trying, that's why we do our check your six, reaching out to our battles, reaching out to the ones that need to hear our voice. Let the beacon be seen, because our grain won't go unseen. We got to get out there and reach out to our brothers and sisters. It's essential. And whatever tool we need to, whatever fishing lure, I don't know if you've ever gone to one of these fishing expos, and the amount of bait they have to catch any type of species of fish. I mean, I don't want to minimize our veterans and our first responders as to, species of fish, but all of us are in music. We have Mr. Hernandez coming up, the walking tenor. Not many people are opera fans. I'm telling you, you need to check out this show, because his music is amazing. I'm not an opera fan, but everyone there. And where the hell is this guy going? He's everywhere. Yeah, I am everywhere. My brain's going right now. Everyone likes different styles of music. You got country, you got pop, you got reggae, you got you name it. You got different kinds of country. We have these conversations with some of the musicians. There's like 16 different criteria of country music, and it's all about where your heart puts it out. Well, okay, it's the same thing with veterans and first responders and people that are looking for supports and helps. First of all, we have 58,000 organizations across the country saying they're helping veterans and first responders. Okay. That number is out there, and I'm going to say hogwash in the fact that probably less than 10% of those organizations are actually following through with what they say they're going to get done. So I'm not preaching at you, Althea. I'm putting information out. At the same time, we're muddying the waters. So what are we going to use as a tool to connect with the plethora of needs that are out there? She Vets It is going to be accommodating that piece. And the great piece is when people reach out to the People's Patriot Project and say, we need it in this area, I'm like, oh my gosh, do you know Althea Williams? Because if not, let's call her up, because we got this right now. And again, Andrea's already said it. We are with them the entire part of their journey. And this journey isn't, first of all, our veterans are not broken. I'm going to tell you that right now, folks. Our veterans and first responders are not broken. They may, and not all of them are struggling with issues and concerns. We have some who have dedicated their lives to give you your freedoms and your liberties. And they did that not looking or seeking a financial I can't think of the right word right now, but like no one got rich being in the military. I'm going to tell you that right now. Except for probably Jonathan. Jonathan got super rich, but that's why he goes to the hair doerist that does his hair, because he makes a lot of money. It's a constant process of trying to accommodate the needs, and we've got this. Typically, we don't get on board and share a lot about WeP3. This is about Althea, and she vets it tonight. And it's an amazing conversation, amazing heart, an amazing person that has stepped out, not traditionally, and has gone. How many 38? I like the data is out. I mean, anyone over the age of 38 who joined the military, it's got to be less than 1%. You know that, right, Althea?
Yeah, and only 1% serve of the population in the United States serve the military. So that's a small amount.
You made a comment on how people are retiring at age 39 because they can, because that's still 20 years in for a lot of them. And the reality is 70+% of the people that have joined the military are out 35 years prior to that. So, I mean, you did a career, you had a career, you did your thing, and then you, for whatever reason, came up with this concept: I should join, serve, and be part of something bigger than myself. We appreciate that, because now we're here. We're having this conversation.
You know, I wanted to add something because, like I said, I didn't know I was going to be doing this. And I was really one day I was really struggling. And I watched this movie called The Shack. And, you know, I think I don't know, like, even this month is my anniversary month of losing battle buddies. And so I remember I was watching the movie The Shack, and I thought, I want to do a meetup group. And I decided, let me go ahead and do a meetup group. But the meetup group was only to a small group of people where we would go to the movies, but they're military, they're veterans, nothing to do. She vets it. And then the day that I received my DD 214, an actor in Hollywood, media consultant, contacted me and asked me if my group would be interested in coming to the Kennedy Center, because I was in DC then. And it was a live taping on ABC. And I was like, okay. And it was the day that I received my DD 214. And I was like, okay, I think God is trying to tell me something. So everything kept leading me to do what I was doing. I didn't know that I was going to do it. If you told me today that I would be doing this, I would say you are lying, because I had other plans. Before I got injured, I thought, get out, go back, run a chamber of commerce, do whatever other things, be a professor, do whatever. And I didn't know, after getting injured, that's, not only just being a veteran, getting out the military, but getting injured and having to figure out this new identity, because I didn't add that I actually got out because I ended up getting a traumatic brain injury. And I, coming out and life looking different, I had to figure out what that was, so that was a challenge. And so I wanted to connect with other people that were having challenges, getting out, after an injury. And what I like what you said is that not all veterans are having issues. Not all veterans are homeless. There's a lot of women veterans, or veterans in general, that are doing some wonderful things. And when I got on Clubhouse and I got a chance to meet some of these amazing women veterans, and, oh, you're a psychologist and you're this and you're that, I was like, oh my gosh, I would love every day. I was like, well, look, I want you to talk about what you're doing today. And then I want you to talk tomorrow about what you're doing during the pandemic. And that opened the door for me to have women veterans share their stories of how they were able to successfully jump over those hurdles of transition into being a successful civilian, so that those that may find themselves stuck and still trying to find out who they are after the military, they can see that, hey, yes, struggle. There might be some challenges when you're looking into the future or something new, but there is hope. It's an opportunity to find a new chapter in your life, to do something different. And think about that. It's fearful to sometimes to not know what that direction is going to look like, but it's okay. There's a lot of women veterans or veterans in general that are out there to help you and support you on that transition.
I love the passion. I love the drive. I love the verbiage. I love your direction. Thank you for all you're doing, Althea. We're going to come back to you, Jonathan. What do you got now?
Well, I was looking at this song called "Blessed" in our portfolio, if you want to call it that, and I had this conversation today, and it made me realize that being in the position that we're in, like everybody on screen right now, even people at home, I'm sure, we're blessed to be able to be a part of people's lives as they transition from one phase to the next, and be a part of that growth that they get to see. And so when I came on this, I was kind of rummaging for the next song, and I saw this song called "Blessed" by Joe Bateman, and that's kind of where I landed. So this is "Blessed" by Joe Bateman.
Life around here gets hard enough as it is, and dealing with this added pressure makes me act like this. I'll admit there's times I don't know what I'm gonna do, but then the thought of having my baby girl in my arms pulls me through. I don't know how I made it all this time without you, girl, by my side. I'm a different And I thank the Lord above for you, 'cause you are the reason I am blessed. I am blessed. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That is Joe Bateman, Blessed. Gosh, how often do you take a moment to walk through your day? And you know what? Life is heavy, stuff is heavy, things are heavy. But take the time to look around and see the people that we are around. Maybe not around, I mean, to be honest with you, but the food we get to eat, the voice we get to have, the comfort of a roof over our head. I mean, yes, sometimes your internet doesn't work. But do you ever really take time to realize how blessed you are? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm blessed because the people on the screen. I'm blessed because of the mission that we have. I spend a lot of times being or wearing some really grumpy pants that I don't allow a lot of people to see, because we're not touching as many people as we want to be touching, or we're not getting as much done as we'd like to get done, or I get wrapped in communicating things that I don't think people are hearing, and they're not following through in the ways that I want them to follow through on. And because this is important to me, and this is my drive, this is my passion, and I want people to have the same drive and passion as I do. And that's me. But at the end of the day, again, how amazingly blessed we really are. I want to thank everyone in this space. Thank you for being here today. This is, and I also just sent a real quick message to Joe saying thank you for your blessing of your song and helping us realize. And what's really cool is if the graphic on there is a pair of boots for his young child, and also the fact that he has got another one on the way, and I'm sure is maybe even around now. I could be. That's what he was talking about. But gosh, Joe's such a great character and a great human being. And
just so everybody kind of knows where part of that conversation is going, we when we had Joe on the show, I usually take the music notes, and one of the Andrea was kind enough to post it here so I can find it again. But during the intro to this song, he said that he wrote this song, and it was a love song, but at the point in his life where he was when he wrote it, he didn't know what it was about. But from where he is now, he can look back and he understands what this song was about when he wrote it before he understood it. So that's kind of where I feel part of that conversation was coming from, was knowing the prelude to that song. So just share that with everybody.
Beautiful.
We are so, I want to say the F word right now. We are so effing spoiled with the people that we have in our lives and the people that have committed to being part of a mission or being part of something bigger than themselves and our musicians. And we're excited to have Mr. Jacobs come and be part of our show eventually. And he's excited about that too. Stuff happens, man. And it's tough for us. And I shared this with one of our guests this week. It's tough for me to a slot when we don't get a chance to promote you, because we want to get your name out there. We want to get your mission out there. We want to get all the pieces out there so it is documented. I mean, the great part is everything that we do is tapped into history, to be honest with you, because it's always going to be here. And it is always on our YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to. You should be getting on WP3 Radio, because every single day you get to hear veterans and first responders play their heart and their passion. And it's not always about PTSD. It's not always about the ugly military story. That song that Joe Bateman had nothing to do with his military service, but he wouldn't have experienced it the same way without his military experience. So, I mean, we know this piece. Gosh, I'm all fluttery. I'm all excited. I'm kind of getting in that emotional state here. Althea, what is the next big thing for She Vets It?
Ooh, oh, wow. My thing is, every story on is the next best. The wonderful stories, you talked about the gratefulness and meeting people, amazing women, sharing their stories, because every story may touch that one veteran that may needed them the most. I always talk about, when I was on Clubhouse and even now, that I'm not always concerned about all this large numbers or viral numbers or things like this. I feel like if you touch one person, one veteran, I feel like you impact their family. And as a result, you impact the community. And so for me is every person that comes on to share their story that inspired that one veteran, that's the next best. I know that's like, you're like, okay, no, I'm talking about something else. but that is, to me, that's what I look at is that. And also I'm looking to really take it to another level of sharing, doing more of a series, more so because I went from Clubhouse to Instagram to podcasting. And so I would love to, keep going, and look, if I could take it even further, I'll do that. And that's what I'm looking forward to do. I do boots on the ground too. So in a couple of weeks, we'll be going to the state veteran home where we'll be celebrating some women veterans that are probably in their 80s that served our country. And we're going to be celebrating me and some representatives from the Texas Veteran Commission and also UT Dallas, the university. We're going to go up there and celebrate the women veterans. I do a lot of different things in my community, and I'm very involved. And then also we're going to do a tea social. So that is to bring women veterans together, to remember not to forget who you are, because sometimes in the military, you can lose yourself really easily. You can lose yourself, and it's not exclusive to women, but you can lose yourself in the position that you have. And once that position's gone, you're like, oh, who am I? And so just remembering who you are, taking time to be in the moment, reclaim your time of learning who it is, who you are. And so the Tea Social is just really thinking about yourself. Like sometimes we think about everybody else but ourselves. We're putting children, everybody else, and we forget ourselves sometimes. So we have to kind of carve out some time for ourselves. And that's what the Tea Social is coming together and just really celebrating each other. And it's actually going to be in lieu of Women Veterans Day. and celebrating the women because of their service.
Get it done. Get it done. Joe just reached back to me. This is a side conversation we're having here. They got tornado stuff going on in their space, so we want to make sure, Joe, you guys are safe, and we are with you. And that's the stuff that we deal with, man. That's the network that we're in, and that's we want to make sure everyone's safe. And again, if there's ever a time and space, there's so tomorrow at 4:30. The People's Patriot Project comes here with our weekly debrief, and we share about what the People's Patriot Project is doing, what we want to do, and how we want to do it. There's a piece where we want to have an interactive, quick response team that can drive into spaces and provide food, limited shelter, but at least the necessities of needed life responses, pillows, laundry services, stuff like that, just because it's a piece that we need to have. It's our people need to survive, and they survive because they are supported. And it's not just veterans and first responders in those spaces, but because we are veterans and first responders and we do serve, this is a great channel to do that. And so that's a piece that we'd like to put in place. It's been in our hearts, and it's been in our passion. It's been in our drive, but I don't want to take away from Althea here. So we want to make sure we're doing, she vets it and what they're doing and what they're getting done. But to have counselors with those teams that can accommodate some of the social and the emotional needs of females that have children and or other things that are going on in their life in those spaces and times, because we know that there are a lot of females that are out there that don't have the male support that they need in their lives, whether you need it or not need it. I mean, it's easier to do it when you're in tandem with two people. I know that that may not be what everyone wants in their life, but it works better in those pieces. When it's a healthy relationship, that's the other piece of this too. If it's not healthy, there's no need in being part of it. So that's a piece, kind of back to that Scooter Brown conversation. It's okay to be walked out on if it's not working. And at the same time, I hope that didn't come across that way, like walked out on. If it's not working, don't be part of it. That's what I'm saying. That sounded weird. Sorry. The good thing is we can retract everything we say at any given point, right? We can't delete it. It's because I just said it's all live all the time, and it's put down in history for Pete's sakes, right? It's because it's on social media. What the heck? We're getting close. Tell me, team, are we going to close out on a song, or are we going to do our closing thoughts and then close out on a song? We lost Kenzer. Kenzer, be safe, brother, because when we lose Kenzer, I just want to let everyone know his pager is going off, and so he's rushing into a fire or rushing into a first responder scenario. And so we are with you. Be safe, brother. He might have left a note. Is that his note?
He did, yeah. And it's crazy because usually we have him here and we're maybe just going to get to him in a couple of minutes, and then his pager will go off and he's gone before he gets to share what he does. And so he's always excited when he makes it past the first hour, which he did. And on that note, you guys, I just started watching a movie called Only the Brave. Because we do a lot of support for first responders as well. And I don't know a lot about firefighting. I've watched a lot of those movies, but you never really know what's what. Well, this is based on the they're not Magnificent 19. Shoot, the Green Granite Mountain 19. And that is when 18 of them were lost in a big fire. But we have a family that lives here in Hastings, and the kids go to school. and they're an amazing family. And one of the firefighters that didn't make it, it's his 4 children and his wife. And so that story, I think I heard the movie was out and I forgot. So if you get a chance, I'm only halfway through, so don't tell me what happens. I already know the outcome, but I appreciate it because I think they did a fair shot at getting to know these as people, these 19 as people, and who they were when they and really why and how they decided to be firefighters and why they wanted to be on this ultimate team. And so far it's been an amazing movie. And I'll let you know next week because
that's an amazing cast. Josh Brolin, Miles Teller, Jeff Bridges. I mean, they're telling the story. And again, 19 of the 20 team members. You know this part, right, Andrea? I don't need to. Yeah, 19 of 20 of their team members perish in this hot shot experience. When I say hot shot, they're not showing off. That's they're smoke eaters. They jump into the site. They do that, and we don't get to touch on a lot of first responder stuff very often. Only in the fact that the military stuff always kind of overcasts, and it's not a bad thing. But then we also need to realize roughly 63% of people that are in the first responder world have prior service in military service. So we want to make sure. I mean, that's why we do what we do and how we do it. And again, well, let's close. We didn't get the answer to my question, and that's fine. We'll close with a song tonight. And so we're at the point where we're going to shut the show down, and we're going to talk about our final thoughts. And typically Jonathan leads in the final thoughts because even though he's down there in Louisiana and everyone wants to say like crocodile hunters and stuff like that, can't eloquently speak and such, he tends to be the smartest one of the WP3 team at any given moment, and at least putting his word. He's Chat GPT using, I can't even say that correctly right now, Chat GPT servicing his response as we're speaking right now. So what does AI tell us to do today, Jonathan?
Stop.
I first of all, you brought that up because you know it's my pet peeve. I hate how they always, like TV always puts in the forefront the ones of us who stayed in the caging culture the most. You know what I mean? So
Bobby Boucher, he hates the Bobby Boucher. Yeah.
Not everybody in South Louisiana is like that, but anyways, some of us have moved further north. No, I have I have a friend of mine actually who runs boats and does crawfishing, and in the off season for crawfish, he catches fish eggs and sells it as caviar. But anyways, that's how he makes his living. And he's really good at it. But
how do you catch fish eggs?
I've never been on the boat with him when he does it.
You squeeze them right out of the fish.
They were doing this Animal Planet or Discovery Channel deal or whatever, and they jumped on his boat and was filming. And the whole time he was on that boat, they had subtitles for everything he said. And I mean, I understood him, but I also hang around him a little bit. But he was subtitled for people who aren't from South Louisiana, I suppose.
Okay,
I'm going to interrupt for a second.
Oh,
go ahead, Andrea.
Well, it's on this topic because my favorite movie or my favorite line from my favorite movie is just because I talk slow don't mean I'm dumb. And I know that's Alabama, but for us in Minnesota. So my daughter just sent me this. Mama should have known I'd never fall for a doctor or a lawyer when Jake from Sweet Home Alabama was my childhood crush. We love him. He's the best in that movie. So yeah. Anyway, sorry that you're portrayed that way.
And along the same lines, granted, it's a different culture, different place, but like if you watch Peaky Blinders, which is one of my favorite series in life, you don't understand a thing that they're saying until you have the subtitles on. And once you have the subtitle, you understand the entire show. And so,
I didn't use subtitles.
yeah,
Althea's like,
you
these
get-
people need to get going. We have kids in the building.
tough.
Family needs
It's-
to eat.
it's tough when you sleep through most things on the TV and you're supposed to pick that up. And so anyway, back to Jonathan and trying to close this bad boy down.
Sorry, I kind of let the cat out the bag earlier because it just felt like the right time. But I really think that being in the position we are, and it really does apply to everybody in life. If you take a step back and look outside of your immediate trouble, your immediate pain, your immediate situation, if it's not the best, you will find that there's so much in life to be thankful for, so much in life to be grateful for. And I'm not saying it's easy. I think we've all been there where the only thing you can see in front of you, you know, when you're fighting to get above water, you're just looking for a little glimpse of light, and you might be swimming around what you think is in a million different directions before you finally find the light. But when you find it, you just keep your eyes focused on that and swim straight towards it, and you'll find that the light gets brighter and the air gets sweeter to breathe.
I love it. Althea, we'll let you go next.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, first, I just want to thank you all so much for just having me here and for all the work that you're doing for the audience, those that viewed in today, and also those that will be listening in later. Thank you so much for just tuning in and just recognizing, our voices, individual stories, and things like that. I really appreciate it. As I shared earlier, She Vets is not just a platform, just where people just come together, but it's very, intentional. Women veterans should be seen, heard, and supported beyond their service, and so that's why She Vets is comes together to amplify the voices of our women veterans and families, to support them. So if there's any veterans that want to share their stories, I'm always interested in connecting with them. They could always visit me on shevetsit.com and actually all social media platforms. You'll see me a lot on Instagram. But most importantly, for those that may be have challenges today, I always say, especially if you transition out the military, connect with people that are good for your mental health. That's a start. Because if you get out the military and let's say you do have challenges, even if you don't, you want to be around people that are good for your mental health. Start taking inventory of those that are not, and I think that's the start of getting to that next destination with the least amount of challenges as possible. And so connect with people. Don't try to live this life by yourself. We're not built to do this alone, whether you're in the military or not. You need people to connect with. You don't have to join a military veteran communities, because some people they get out the military, they don't want to connect with a veteran community. They don't even want to see a veteran community. But find people that you can relate to. I always say you can do, some people are into, I say, underwater basket weaving. Find your people. Find people that you can relate to. If it's that one person, you can connect with She Vets It. You might find one person and never connect after that, because that person you guys are friends with and you don't need anybody else, but you have people that hold you accountable. Find people that hold you accountable to do better, feel better, get better. She Vets It is I'm held accountable because people chime in with me and say, Althea, thank you so much for what you do. And that holds me accountable, because I can't preach what I don't practice. So it holds me accountable to do better, to be better, and to show up for myself so that I can show up for someone else. So I say find people that will hold you accountable, find people that are good for your mental health, and know that if you're just getting out the military, it's just a moment. And, there are challenges when you change jobs, but connect with organizations that will lead you to the direction and your focus on what that next chapter is going to be like. Find a mentor. So that's all I wanted to add. And again, I thank you all, your whole team at the People Patriots Project, for all that you do. I know the impact that it has on, so many others. And also, I appreciate you feeling that there's value that I add to our veteran community. So I do appreciate you.
Andrea.
No, I
I'm all over the place. I'm here. I'm listening. I got it. It's fine. The weird piece is I'm gonna be before Andrea tonight. So,
I'm gonna forget everything I'm thinking of. I'm kidding.
Okay, go.
No, I'm kidding. You go.
I thought I saw a typo and I'm trying to adjust to it. And so I'm not confident, but I'm going to put up the link for She Gets It one more time. I'm hearing a lot of feedback here, but that's okay. We'll get through it. What Althea was talking about is you find your people. And I just want to relate it back to our check your six. You know who your people are. So check on your people. And again, 6 isn't the threshold. 6 is just what we do for branding and marketing and that piece. And again, I don't want to create an overburden for you. Check on your people. Bottom line. I would love how and I jokingly say this, and it's not a joke, but I literally start my day off in the bathroom area facility doing what I need to do. I'm not brushing my teeth. I'm not shaving, clearly. I might be playing some Brick Breaker at one point. Yeah, Andrea says stop it. But no, you have time in your day to reach out to your people, period. To type in just thinking about you, that took what? 3 seconds of that? Cut and paste it. You could send this out 1,000 times a day. You can do a Facebook post. You could do a thread. You could do an Instagram post. You can do all this. You can go on TikTok and say, I'm just thinking about you, and name your people out. It's that simple. And call them out. If you haven't heard from them, call them out. We really do got this, but you got to be involved. And we got our brothers and sisters. I do want to say thank you for everyone again. I'll get a chance, maybe not. I may not get a chance to say thanks again, but Jonathan's going to play a song after Andrea. Althea, if you have the chance to hang around after, that's great. If not, if you got to go, you got to go. But we'd like to collab at the end. Sorry, folks, you don't get to see this part because we try to do what we can do within organizations to also make a difference on another level. So, Andrea, it's all yours.
Okay. No, what I didn't want to forget was that the because you guys covered everything, but the family. I spoke to Althea before the show. She called to check on things, and when you talk to that person that you hope you talk to again, not just on the show, but in another space, in another time. And that's how I feel about Althea. And then hearing your backstory, you're a perfect lead for She Vets It, because when you joined and I'm way older than that now, but I remember hitting a spot where I thought the same thing. I was like, gosh, I'm kind of a tough girl. Why did I never like join the National Guard when I had a chance? Or in my little area, it wasn't a thing. Anyway, so thank you so much for not just being a leader, but a friend. And I feel like a family with our organization as well. And I hope that we get the chance to do things together in the future. So yeah, thank you so much for coming on tonight and blessing us with your presence and your story and your information. Man, it takes guts, and it then to share it again all over. So for the record, looking at your picture and checking you out on Facebook wouldn't have led me to think you're a grandma. So nice job.
Oh, well,
She's poking the bear with that one. I gotta say, she's poking the bear with that one.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I appreciate you. Same here.
Absolutely. And then anyone who might still be listening or will be listening later, next weekend, we had Carrie scheduled one day and she had something come up. So Carrie Ann will come on with Valor Ranch, Texas next weekend. And we have Michael Allen Music scheduled to come in. Can we not have storms, snowstorms, sleet, and tornadoes next weekend, please? So we can have both our guests on and have everybody be safe. That's what. Yeah, you know what? I saw those tornado things. Actually, anyone out there who does have internet and can be listening in, take care of yourself. And if you have to, you take care of your neighbors tomorrow or as soon as you can too, because sounds kind of icky out there. Thanks, Peterson, for letting me have my say.
Why would I never? You have your say all the time.
Whenever I want it.
Althea, how many grandchildren do you have?
2.
It's not a contest, Peterson.
I didn't have to have.
For the internet network world, how many grandchildren do you think Andrea has? It's not a competition.
It's kind of a trick. It's a trick question because
it's more. More.
They just happened really fast. It just.
Wow. Good job, Andrew.
I know, right?
Can I test you right now?
Yeah, I joke sometimes because I prayed for this and I got what I prayed for and it came fast and hard. So yeah, I'll be young. I keep praying for retirement age. You never.
This is a bad thing. Can I test you? Can I test you, Ekman?
Do I have to get them in order? Is that what you're gonna do?
You don't have to get them in order. Just can you name all of them?
Oh yeah.
All right, go.
Leo, Noah, Bennett, Carter, Emmeline, Ireland, Avon, Weston, Hunter, Evelyn, and Eliana.
Are there 2 Evelyns in this story? You did say Evelyn twice. Just so
Ireland, you know. Emmeline, and did you see what they did to me? 2 different families. Yeah. Emmeline, Evelyn, Ireland, Eliana, Avon,
all right.
Weston. Yeah, there it's killing me.
Sorry, we took the focus off you for a second, Althea.
No
can you name all yours, Althea?
Riley and Taylor.
See how long
that was easy. And they're actually here today. So they're actually waiting for me so we can go.
Let's shut this down. Players, don't worry about post show. We'll get back to you. Don't worry about post show. Jonathan plays song. Let's get Althea to her grandkids.
This song was kind of when I heard Miss Althea's story. This was the first song that popped into my head, and I didn't have it on here, so I had to go find it and download it and upload it and do all that. But anyways, we got it now, so we'll close out the night tonight with this. I don't know which Miss Amanda Pruitt is dedicating it to, but it makes me think about my mother because she's a strong woman. And I guess this is for all the strong women out there. So this is Amanda Pruitt with Strong.
Thank you.
They say make like a tree and leave this town. Pack your things and take your dreams. Don't even turn back around. I hear all their lies, but I believe I belong. I'm gonna make like a woman and be strong. The bright lights of the night shine on wet city streets, like midday on Broadway at 2:03. Last call left me missing my family back home. I'm gonna make like a woman and be strong. When I get knocked down, I get back up, catch my second wind, push comes to shove. I stand my ground alone. I won't give in, I won't doubt myself. I'm tough enough, don't need no help. I'll get there on my own. My faith will carry me on. I'm gonna make like a woman and be strong. When this world gets too crazy and my load gets too heavy, I'm reminded where I've been. I'm never going there again. When I get knocked down, I get back up, catch my second wind, push comes to shove. I stand my ground alone. No, I won't give in, I won't doubt myself. I'm tough enough, don't need no help. I'll get there on my own. My faith will carry me on. I'm gonna make like a woman and be strong. I'm gonna make like a woman and be strong.
Patriot Pride.